Jake was a long-haul trucker, used to endless highways and late-night hauls. One night, while driving through a desolate stretch of road, his radio crackled, breaking the eerie silence. "Storm's coming. Be careful out there," the dispatcher warned. The sky darkened. Rain hammered the windshield and visibility dropped to near zero. Jake slowed the truck, gripping the wheel tight. Then, through the sheets of rain, he saw something on the side of the road. A hitchhiker. Against his better judgment, Jake stopped. A tall, shadowy figure climbed into the truck without saying a word. The air inside instantly grew colder. "Where you headed?" Jake asked, glancing over. The hitchhiker just stared ahead, his eyes hollow and face pale. Jake's gut tightened. Something wasn't right. As the truck rolled forward, the storm worsened. Lightning flashed, and for a split second, Jake saw the hitchhiker's reflection in the side mirror. But no one was sitting in the passenger seat. Panicked, Jake turned to look beside him. The seat was empty. Suddenly, a whisper echoed through the cabin. "You shouldn't have stopped." The truck's engine stalled. Jake slammed the brakes, heart racing, but the truck kept moving, as if something else had taken control. And then, from the shadows, the hitchhiker's voice whispered one last time, "This is your last ride." The truck disappeared into the storm. Panicked, he jumped back into the truck, locking the doors and flooring the gas. The woman disappeared in his rearview mirror, but he couldn't shake the feeling she was still near. The sobbing and whispers started again, louder and more pleading this time. Jake could swear he saw her reflection in the passenger seat window, though he dared not look. As he sped down the road, things took a horrifying turn. The GPS on his dashboard flashed erratically, showing him back at the exact spot he'd started from, as if he'd driven in a giant loop. Panic clawed at his mind. It was as if the road itself didn't want to let him leave. Then his headlights fell upon a broken-down truck on the side of the road. He slowed, recognizing the truck's company logo. It was from the same fleet he worked for. The cab door was open, swaying slightly in the wind. Curiosity overpowered his fear, and he stepped out to investigate. As he approached the cab, he saw a framed photo on the dashboard. It was of a man who looked eerily like him, with the same trucker cap and even the same jacket he wore. The man's name, engraved on a keychain, was Jake Marshall. He stared, feeling the blood drain from his face. A voice whispered behind him, "Don't leave me." It was closer this time, almost breathing down his neck. Jake turned around, heart racing, but there was no one there. He climbed back into his truck, his hands shaking uncontrollably. The whispers grew louder, filling the cab until he could hardly think straight. Desperate, Jake decided to get off the haunted road any way he could. But the moment he tried to turn the truck around, his headlights flickered and died, leaving him in total darkness. His phone was dead, and the silence was oppressive, broken only by the sound of someone tapping softly on the window. With no other choice, he got out of the cab, carrying only his flashlight. The beam illuminated a figure standing just a few feet away. It was her. She extended her hand, her voice now a soft whisper. "Come with me, Jake. It's time." Realization washed over him as he understood. This road wasn't a shortcut, it was a trap, a place where lost souls wandered endlessly. The woman was a guide of sorts, leading wayward drivers to the other side. But Jake wasn't ready to accept his fate. With a final burst of adrenaline, he ran back to his truck, jumped inside, and turned the ignition. The engine roared to life, and he sped down the road, refusing to look back. He drove faster than ever, not caring about the road or the risk. As dawn broke, he found himself back on Route 66. The haunting whispers and shadows had vanished with the first light. Shaken and exhausted, Jake pulled over at the nearest truck stop. Inside, he asked a waitress about the shortcut. Her face went pale. "That road," she whispered, "that's the ghost road. Only the lost ever take it, and those who don't come back." Jake's skin prickled as he realized he'd barely escaped the road's clutches, but he couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere out there, she was still waiting for him to return.